Welcome, everyone. We're here with William Arruda. This is Marie Zimenoff, and we've been sharing this with you, and we're excited to have you here. Thank you, William, for joining me on our regular Tuesday live show.
I'm so honored to be the first person who can intrude on your big soliloquy.
Yeah, it's so I don't even know how long I've been doing this. I started doing it as let's see what this will say, let's see what this will do. And I've always wanted to have someone join me. So thank you for being the first one who was willing to try it.
Well, I'm thrilled to be that person. So this half hour is going to zoom by.
It is. So we've got coaches, and that's our mission today, is to help coaches who are in business. I know that some of them are doing great and some of them are really struggling. So what can any of them do to make sure that their business is viable, not just now, but of course, as we move into whatever phase might be next? And you've put together an article, it's in Forbes, or it's going to be, and you just are going to share some of those ideas with us.
Great. And just so you know, it's not even out yet. So this is the first time anyone's going to hear any of this. So hopefully people are going to like it because it is going to come out in Forbes.
Excellent. Well, obviously people can find you on Forbes, and we'll figure out how to get them the link in the comments here. If you are joining us, feel free to say hello in the comments. It's nice to see you. I try to check my comments over here. Oh, so we have Amy that's joined us, and Sandy and April. Hello. Thank you. We're going to dive into our content. And William, this was the first point that we talked about, or we decided to talk about, was how do you get financially fit?
Yeah. When things are going good, our businesses get bloated. And I know this personally, right? You buy things, and this thing costs $8 a month, and this thing costs $80 a month. And it just, the next thing you know, right, it really doesn't matter because you're doing well. It's just an expense. You don't think about it. It's times like these where it's really important, and I am the person who hates doing this more than anything, but to take a step back and look at all of those charges you have, especially the ones that happen every month, right? And they might be $29 or $89 or $199 a month. 90% of the time, you can either eliminate them, or more likely, you can reduce them. And this is my new thing. Everyone thinks binary, like, can I get rid of this or not? And my answer is, maybe there's a way to keep it, but at a different level. And I'll give you just an example. At Reach, we had a list of 86,000 people. 86,000 people a month is $400 a month to maintain them in our customer relationship management system. And you know what? Those same 86,000 people are at Career Blast in a different customer relationship system, and that's how we're communicating with them. So we were paying $400 a month when we probably need about 11,000 people at Reach, right? So there's no loss whatsoever to just drop down to the 1,100 people and save all of that money. So it's those kinds of things that you're probably not paying attention to. You can save a lot of money.
Yeah, and subscriptions are great to look at, as well as anything else you might be paying for. Now, I have put on my LinkedIn messages to be careful about cutting marketing spend. Like you were just talking about your list. You don't want to cut that completely because you need that list. You need to connect with that list now, help them now, so that they can do business with you in the future.
That's exactly right. And that's why you have to make the decision. What is essential and going to help me move forward, and what is just going to be a financial drag for me? And I think for me, I'll tell you how I felt after I went through this. I felt like I'm actually taking some kind of action on what's happening right now. And just that, how much did I save? Probably enough to pay for the HOA on this apartment, right? Not a huge amount of money, but boy, did it make me feel good, like I'm actually taking some kind of action. And that will have action every year, right? That will have value every year over time.
Well, and I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we can get into the more, right? How can I make more, do more? And this is a step to think of, what don't I need? What maybe shouldn't I be doing? That counteracts some of that more. I've got to make more money to make this survive. Well, maybe we don't. Maybe there's some things we could subtract.
Yeah, well said.
So our next piece here is around the reaching out and making those connections, which is, of course, what you and I wanted to help people do today.
Yeah, I think that we, as humans, many of us, we get into a situation where we really have no control over it. And what we do is we retreat. right? You're working from home, everything has changed. And so you're probably less connected to clients, and maybe they don't have budget, so you're not talking to them. But now is the time to double up on your communication with them, and not your communication about what you offer, not about selling something or something new, just about letting you know that you're there for them, right? So think of the clients that you have who have ailing parents in nursing homes, or I have a client who has 3 school-age kids that she now has to school from home while she does her work and other things, and just reach out with empathy and appreciation and acknowledgement. And often in the emails that I've been writing to clients, I say, no need to respond back, just know that I'm thinking of you, period. Now is the time just to keep those relationships going, because what will happen, this is going to take a while to be over. And if you don't communicate with these folks, a whole year could go by, and then essentially the strength of that relationship has been diminished.
Yeah, and you're thinking about how can I support them, and asking them, how can I support you, so that you can get some of those two-way conversations going and really support people in a way that feels good to them. I think, we see all these articles, oh, you have more time, do this. Well, not everybody feels like they have more time. So
Yeah.
with your audience and asking how do they feel. And I'm so glad that we've got more people here. We've got Michelle that's joined us, and Freda and Phyllis. So feel free to add your thoughts as well. How are you reaching out to your customers, and how are you reaching out to your network to support them and to get it for ourselves? I mean, I love being able to connect with you, William, for me as much as for
exactly. This is fun, but we have to be proactive and make it happen, because it's very easy for us to just sit and I'm a Myers-Briggs E, and I can sit and isolate during times like this.
Yes, well, you don't sit very well. But
no, I'm standing right now. I have my new standing studio. I can't really show it to you, but yeah, I'm even standing doing this now, and it's way better, I will tell you.
Oh, good. So the third point that we are going to talk about is accepting help. So we might be so busy supporting and offering help that we forget we also need to accept help.
Yeah. And ask for help, and people, who you are, the invincible, I can do everything kind of mindset, which in many times is really great, right? You're a self-starter and you make stuff happen. And it's during times like this where that will work against you. You may need help. You may need someone to help you come up with ideas about other things that you can do. You may need help because you have to find ways to communicate with people in an efficient way, and you don't have the technology to do it. Whatever it is, be willing to ask people. My guess is, so we have mostly coaches here, and coaches are just by nature givers and helpers and supporters and encouragers and inspirers, right? The people who help everyone else be successful. Now is the time, right? That's your job, is helping other people be successful. Now's the time to be willing to let other people help you do whatever it is you need to do, right? And 90% of the stuff that I need to do, I don't know how to do. So I always need to reach out to the expert. I know, this much, and that's my expertise, and everything else falls in the I need help. And now is the time, challenge yourself to reach out for help.
Yeah, and this is hard for especially solopreneurs, because what I'm hearing from a lot of solopreneurs is that they maybe made too much money to qualify for very much stimulus, especially here in the US. So 2018, even 2019 were good years, and our tax records are not making us eligible for the full amount or even maybe any amount of the stimulus money. That's, the $1,200 that each person in the US is getting. And we're too small, perhaps, to qualify for the small business loans, although there are some options out there that I'd encourage you to still look at. So for us solopreneurs, we might be looking at applying for unemployment. And this is kind of unprecedented that self-employment people are eligible for unemployment. And that might be part of our ask for help or seek help, right?
Absolutely. And by the way, I just do want to say they just made a change to the payroll protection, the PPP, if you're in the US, where if you are an LLC or a Chapter S or Chapter C corporation, but you're sole proprietor, you don't have other employees. Before it was anyone with 2 employees or more, but they've made a new rule that says if you're 1 employee, you can apply. And essentially, you could get up to 2.5 months of whatever you pay yourself forgiven. So there are those things out there. And again, this is a place to ask for help, right? Ask your accountant, ask people. A friend of mine from New York told me about this because I had no clue how this worked, right? And it might seem so hard to figure out what to do financially. Get a resource who can help you, and then those funds can really just make you feel a little bit more comfortable and secure as you move through this.
Yeah, and I'm always telling people, who's on your team, you have a lawyer, have a CPA, and this is the time that if you don't have a relationship with an accountant or a bookkeeper or someone like that, now is the time to find that person to add to your team, because they're going to help you wade through all of this. It's a lot, right? With the 300 different types of loans or programs, it's a lot.
And the like, you need this form and that form, and someone else can just simplify it for you. So yeah, this is where experts are so valuable.
And realizing that, just like we don't want to be the expert to our client for everything, right? We don't solve everything for our client, so we can't have that for ourselves. And for our business to be long-term successful, having these relationships is going to be important, and even more so right now, because we need those people, and they, just like us, want to be there to help someone right now.
Absolutely. And that solidifies your relationship with them. They know that they're going to help you do this, and you're going to be forever their client.
Yes. And I love my CPA because he's, from the very beginning, I had someone that said, oh, I'll charge you for this much for an hour of strategy. And he was like, oh, no, I sit down and I talk strategy, and then we go from there. And I was like, ooh, I need that. I like that.
Yeah.
Sit down and talk strategy. So Wendy is talking about how the money dried up for PPP. It looks like the Senate is going to pass more funding for that. So keep your eye out. It's possible that will come back.
Today I heard 500 billion. Yeah.
Yeah. So now is the time to start talking to your CPA before that's even funded, because as we know, those applications and that money will go quick as well. And then Freda was talking about how she was connecting with customers. So if you're watching, jump over onto the comments and look at that. Solopreneurs were able to apply for PPP on April 3rd, but then it ran out. Yeah, I tried to apply. I'm not sure it was for that specific bundle of money, but it's figuring out how to make it happen and talking to your folks so that they can help you make it happen. Clients' job outlook in an industry. What is their specific industry, and how can they improve their skills? So Paul is talking about being specific and how you help them, which is great. Excellent. All right. So our fourth one here, we've got so many people talking. It's so much fun.
I know. It's a real conversation. And we're all physically distant, so it's safe.
Yes. All right. So our next one then is to rethink and innovate. And this kind of goes right along with that, asking for help and thinking about what we do and what really matters in what we do.
Yeah. And I think this is where we typically don't think to innovate, right? We're thinking, how do I save things? And how do I just keep whatever I'm doing going? But maybe this is the best time ever. Because you know what happens when you're really busy is we say, I'm too busy to do this project or to create this app or to, whatever it is, you want to do video delivery of what you do, but you just never have the time to make it all work out. Now is the time to do it, right? So maybe you just say, okay, I'm comfortable in being uncomfortable and maybe financially a little bit insecure, but I'm going to take a step back, and this is the thing that's going to help me moving forward. And this is where I'm going to invest. I will tell you 100% of my speaking business has dried up. 100%. I spent the first half of Q1 making flights and presentations and everything for my gigs. And I spent the second half canceling flights and canceling hotels and whatnot. And at first, so it's super scary and distressing. But you know what has been great for me is I have been focusing almost full time on Career Blast, which has really been, the ugly stepchild that I haven't had time for because I've been flying around the world doing all this other stuff. And so it's been actually a gift this time that I focused, and we have accelerated when the Career Blast product, we have a new product coming out called Brand Boost, when that comes out, because I've been actually able to focus and innovate and concentrate. So that's my thought is be uncomfortable, but know that you're going to get to market with something new or exciting or better, which is going to help you when all this stuff clears.
Yeah, and I would encourage people to be a little bit agile right now too. So the whole idea behind agile software development was that instead of waiting for it to be perfect, you say, okay, I'm going to put this out there and I'm going to test it and see how it goes. Depends on the product that you're putting out there. But I had a colleague on one of our earlier calls that was saying, oh yeah, I'm going to launch all of these products in September because I want my store to be really full. And I thought, oh no. Like if you've got stuff up there that you could be getting in front of people, do it. See what works, see what they like and what they don't like. Because if we put too much time into developing things, then we might go to market with them and figure out they don't connect. So it's okay to put things out there and keep working on it. And that could bring in some income for you while you're continuing to innovate. So don't, picture of me, perfectionist sometimes. That don't wait until it's perfect to put it out there. And I got to tell you that live video has kind of solved that for me in some ways because it can't be perfect. And actually, when it's perfect, it isn't as engaging. So put it out there, start sharing it with your market. It's okay to sell to people. Like you were saying, William, we want to help people, but it's also okay to sell your ebooks and offer those as you're not selling, right? You're offering solutions to people. So don't wait until too late to get it out there and see if it connects.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really important mindset shift, right? Many people in the coaching community I talk to, and I'm this way myself, hate selling, right? Because we feel like we're asking people for something. But I think the mindset that you talked about is if we could get people to change that mindset and then think, hey, I am giving you an opportunity to solve a problem or to feel better or to grow professionally or whatever it is, and we just change that mindset, then I think we're more willing to earn income by delivering value.
Yeah, so someone's asking, and I want to hear your answer to this because I know it's going to be amazing. What tips do you have for staying motivated when we've got this uncertainty and maybe we're not getting much back from our network right now?
Yeah, well, so you have to measure for yourself like what productivity is. So at the end of a day, what is it you would like to have accomplished? Do you want to talk to 5 people? Do you want to post 10 things in social media? Do you, think about the things that are going to make you feel good and accomplished, and then in the morning just commit to that and have a system. These are the things that I commit to today. You know what I'm doing now? I'm committing to 5 funny videos a day. And I need them because if you watch the news, oh my God, it is just like, it can take the most optimistic person in the world and spiral yourself into, you want to curl up in a ball and pull the covers over your head and not even leave the bed in the morning. So I'm doing 5 video and I feel accomplished at the end of the day. I think I do better at what I do. And I know that this is the thing that I'm doing to help keep me sane. So for whatever it is that you're looking to do, talk to 5 new prospects, reconnect with 3 new clients every day. Make yourself that manageable commitment in the morning. At the end of the day, make sure you've done it, and then acknowledge yourself for having done it. Because at the end, the feel good trifecta we do at the end of every day. Every day, pick one thing, something you accomplished, something that you're grateful for, and something that you learned. And if you should be every day with that, and you write it down, at the end of months, you start seeing some trends because you accomplished a lot and you learned a lot and you're grateful for a lot. But things that you chose to write down, all of a sudden some themes emerge and you see what's important to you. You also, at the end of the day, you feel really good, because otherwise what happens is that day kind of moves into the next day and we're on this endless, treadmill without ever stopping.
Yeah, and Jan Melnick in our last Career Thought Leaders Associates call was talking about 3 things that you're going to do every day that will build your business. So it might be that, social media post, your newsletter, reaching out to 3 clients. What I like about all the things that you're saying and what she was saying is that they're action-based goals. So there's a difference in that action-based goal. This is something I have control over. I'm going to do it, versus an outcome-based goal. I'm going to make $1,000 this week. That might work for some people, but for others, it might just make us feel completely defeated because we aren't maybe aren't going to get there, or we don't know how to get there. So I'm a big fan of action-based goals. What am I going to do today to try to get to that $1,000 this week or whatever it might be, instead of having that as the main goal. That's kind of the vision. That's where, okay, this is where my plan is. But my goals for the day are very action-based. And I shared this on a LinkedIn post yesterday, but around 4 o'clock every day, an alarm goes off on my phone. It's an actual alarm. It makes a noise. And then it reads, Marie plans better with chocolate. So that is my notice to get up out of my desk, and I go to the cupboard and I get chocolate and I celebrate what I've done that day. Just like you were saying, what did I accomplish today? I celebrate that. And then I plan for the next day. And that's been really helpful for me, one, to transition from work to home, and the other thing to celebrate and plan for the next day. But it's got this very specific, the phone reads, Marie plans better with chocolate.
Well, Marie, I even like you more, as if it were possible, because I think that's absolutely incredible. Dark or milk?
Always dark. In fact, I can barely do milk chocolate anymore.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm definitely a dark chocolate person. Great to know.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of leads us into this fifth one, which is remember our victories. Yeah.
And this is my technique for always being positive, because I can really, one day I got 3 emails canceling 3 events, right? And I could have literally just eaten bars and bars of chocolate for the rest of the day just to feel better about that. But the thing is, every single person out there, you've done some stuff that's amazing. You've conquered things. Maybe you started your business and you didn't have clients for months and months and months, and then all of a sudden you had a full practice because of the hard work that you did. You have made it through a million things. You're resilient, and acknowledge that and know that whatever this is, right? We've not experienced it before, but you didn't experience 9/11 before, and you didn't experience a financial meltdown like 2008 before, or if you lived in a hurricane or an earthquake or whatever, you encountered that, and somehow you made it through it, and you're even emerged better at the other end. This is going to be exactly the same. So yeah, I think it's so important. Everyone has victories. And it's hard to even remember them when we're caught in a place where we're feeling a little less victorious.
Right. And that I've done this before. I can do it again. Finding those patterns of what did I do then? And most of us have already started a business, so it's so deflating to think about perhaps feeling like we have to start over. But we can do it, right? We did it before, and does it suck that we might have to do it again? Yes. And hopefully it will be easier this time, because we already have figured out some of the things that we did in the past. We maybe have a list, or can start a list, and have that place to start from, where we are not starting from ground zero.
Yeah. And you're exactly right with that, which is we have resources now. And when you started that business, you probably had virtually none. You were just scraping stuff up. And so acknowledge that you're in a way better place than you ever were probably in the past. And all of that stuff's going to come to bear towards something really positive and incredible in the future.
Yeah, and you're right. It can feel, we can go down that spiral sometimes, and that's okay, right? You might have to go eat that piece of chocolate and mourn the loss of what you were thinking about doing, because you had that picture in your head, you had those expectations in your head, and then you're going to go, okay, so what's next, and how am I going to pick up and move forward? And of course, connecting with other peers, and there's been so much sharing in the chat, so thank you, Phyllis. And I saw someone earlier share the link to Lendio, Kelly, I think, where you can go and apply for a loan. I've used Lendio before when I was first purchasing Career Thought Leaders, actually. So I found them to be very helpful. And then there's lots of resources here in the chat. So thank you so much for everyone joining and sharing. And William, maybe just a few last tips on marketing during this time. What have you found around your coaching conversations with other coaches? What are they doing that's really effective for marketing their practice right now?
Yeah, so a few things. First, by the way, and this is going to make everyone really uncomfortable, makes me uncomfortable, is now is the time to invest, right? So invest in marketing, invest in, build yourself a new credential. take on a new certification, something that's going to help you be differentiated when all this ends from your peers. Invest in marketing, whether that means buying Facebook ads or hiring someone to be your social media person, or even hiring a salesperson or looking for other channels to deliver your work. One of the things coaches have done that I think has been successful is individual custom connections with past clients, letting them know something that could be helpful to them right now. I know that when we worked together, you were, redoing your resume and X, and here's something I think would be really helpful to you as you get your resume, get your resume ready now, and just delivering value to them. And a lot of my coaching friends have told me that their clients have then said, oh, so great to hear from you. And I know so-and-so who's using this as an opportunity to look for a new job right now. Or I know so-and-so who really needs their resume written. They haven't done it in 15 years. And so these kind of opportunities come up if you're willing to go out there and kind of deliver value and connect. The other thing is, do something new that you haven't been doing around marketing. If you haven't been writing articles, do that. If you haven't been doing videos, figure out that. Whatever the right thing is, it's going to both be something that you will learn to enjoy, even if you don't love it now, and will reach your target audience. Add that new marketing element to the mix so that you're creating that visibility, right? We all know the funnel: awareness, consideration, trial, buy, right? Get those new clients aware so that they can consider, try, and ultimately buy as they need what it is that you have to offer. So add that one thing that you haven't been doing.
Yeah, and that's an important point. Where are your clients? Because you don't want to struggle through podcasts if your clients aren't listening to podcasts, although many people are now. But that idea of where are my clients, so that I'm putting in the effort that really matches with them. And last week's live, I actually went through a little bit more in depth just on the kind of branding foundation, if you will. And I recommend people do that frequently, especially right now when our mind can kind of wander, right? We can think, oh, maybe I should go help these people because they might have money.
Yeah.
Be true to who you are. Right? That brand creep is not good for us.
No. Double down, right? You have to double down on the community that you have. And there's in the marketing model, if you've ever gone to business school and like day one in marketing class, they talk about if you're looking to grow your business, right? You're in, think of a 4-box model, and there's the box that you're in, which is selling what you sell to your existing clients. If you're looking to expand, what you need to do is either sell the same thing to new people or sell new things to your current community. What you don't want to sell is new things to new people. So that is where you will waste a lot of time. So if you feel like your current clients maybe aren't available to purchase things from you, think about what you have and how you can repackage it maybe for another community. Or if you feel like you've sold them a whole bunch of stuff, think about some new stuff that would be valuable to them, especially in the time that we're in. And that's a great way to kind of augment your revenue without having to create new stuff and create a whole new community of people to connect with it.
Right, and you might think of different offerings that are different sizes in terms of price and service, so that, as you're saying, people can get into your funnel, even if they're feeling a little bit more tight with their investment. They can get into your funnel and start experiencing how great you are. And then when they do have more funding, or maybe they get that gap job, then they can work with you more one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly. There's a coach, and her target audience was new coaches. And we know that new coaches don't have a lot of discretionary income. And so what she did is she created group coaching where she could earn what she deserved for the hour, and people would experience her. And all these new coaches became successful, accomplished coaches. And then they hired her one-on-one. And so she was essentially building her one-on-one practice by doing this really inexpensive but really valuable group coaching. So think creatively like that, right? Now's the time to kind of try this stuff out, see if it works.
Yeah, and job clubs, group coaching, things that we were doing in 2008, 2009, 10, now they're going to come back. And we've been focusing more on one-on-one work, but now those groups are definitely going to be more accessible to people. So thank you, William, for sharing your ideas and your energy. And it was so good to see you.
Yeah, no, thanks. Again, I feel really honored that I get to be the first person on your more than one person live session. And it's always fun talking to you. And now I learned a new thing about you too. So thank you.
Yes, well, and if you're watching, we're going to have a session tomorrow with Susan Britton. That is a registration thing. We're going to do it on a webinar platform. So register for that on the CTO website. But then on Thursday, we'll be back here with Nancy Siegel talking about applying for federal jobs, because federal jobs are growing and how can we help our clients apply for those federal jobs. And then on Friday, we're going to have so exciting, this e-recruiter from Intel, and that's his job, is that he's in charge of e-recruiting for Intel, and he's going to be sharing how people can stand out in a virtual job fair, because we know that everything's moving online. So he's going to share how companies are using virtual job fairs, how universities can use virtual job fairs, and then how people can stand out if they're in that virtual job fair. So I'm really excited to learn from him and to help our university folks figure out how they can help these poor students who are getting ready to graduate and don't have all of that on-campus support that they're used to.
Marie, you are busy.
I kept myself really busy this week, so I didn't have to think about the fact that I was supposed to be in Philadelphia, getting to meet all of my friends in person.
I remember. I'm really sorry. By the way, bravo to you for turning that around into something else, right? Everyone knows who's done an event how hard it is to make an event happen, and then to have to undo an entire event is double the work, right? For it to not happen, and you did that. You just handled that so resiliently.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was so good to see you, and maybe we'll have to do this again sometime, because you just offer such great wisdom. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, everyone, for commenting and sharing, and make sure you read the comments, because there's a lot of great information there. Bye.
Great. Bye.